devastatingly tough. Crane of curves down to the old hairpin. Lots of weight on the front end of the bike here. He's got to be brave to carry this off. Right now then, Neil Hodgson been taking his time. He's been right there all the way through this race. Hodgson could be on for a win here.
Yeah, and also let's think it. He will have the most preserved tyres because everybody else has been battling for the lead, so they'll probably use their bikes a bit harder.
Although I haven't said that, Reynolds doesn't look like he's been working that bike very hard. He was gifted that first place. I mean, he's been sitting on. Reynolds is a very smooth rider. I'd be surprised if he's using his tyres anywhere near as hard. Well, he's certainly not using them as hard as Chris Walker, because I don't think anybody in the race is.
Yeah, I think Walker just certainly abuses his equipment, but Reynolds looked like he was getting it quite squirrely out of Goddard's a few laps ago.
So, down towards the left-hander of the Asses, then the right, flicking right, back on the power. What's that Suzuki squirm as he kicks it through another gear, up to fourth gear, over the rise, into the braking area, back down to bottom gear. Oh, Chris Walker, you are an animal. I cannot believe what I just saw. What is he on? And on the way out as well. Does he ever go straight?
Once again, yes, certainly, as we said, that's going to give these tyres a lot of grief. This place is incredibly hard on your brakes and on your tyres because you have to keep going from fourth and fifth gear flat out, on top gear flat out, down to first gear corners where you accelerate exceedingly hard. So it uses everything up.
Colin Hipwell comes into focus then. Colin Hipwell riding the Team Phoenix Elliott Engineering Suzuki is about to be moved out of the way by the blue flags, and if he don't get out of the way, I know a man who will move him.
Hodgson looked like he was just having a bit of a look up the inside of Walker there into Redgate.
Walker's bike, surely those tyres must be shot. I mean, he is absolutely sideways on everywhere. We're at the old hairpin. This is John Reynolds, race leader. Colin Hipwell just in front of him on bike number 88. Blue flag, frantically waved there. Move aside. Oh, dear me, that's... what's that doing part there?
Yeah, Francis Williamson on his...
Yes, on the Yamaha. Gets it back into gear. Another, the yellow plates, it gives us an idea too. The yellow plates, of course, are privateers, if you're wondering why they're running yellow plates, and these guys are running white ones. The white ones are works machinery. The privateers are the yellow plates.
Out of Coppice there, which is about the fastest corner on the track. You're accelerating hard. You arrive at Coppice, and you can't actually see where the corner's going to go. So it's a bit of it's a very difficult corner, and then you have to drive the bike as hard as possible onto the back straight.
Okay, the top four men are past Colin Hipwell as we come out of the Asses, up towards the Melbourne Loop now on the Grand Prix circuit here at Donington Park. Still Reynolds looking very smooth, although that's beginning to move as well. Walker, he's got the back out, he's got the front steering, he's all over the hockey. Unbelievable.
It's almost not surprising anymore.
No, you're right.
But it doesn't half look good.
I'm out of my chair in the commentary box, though. You should have doesn't half look good. You're a man of understatement, Scott Smart. On to the start-finish line then. Hodgson is right there taking a look at Chris Walker. Surely Chris Walker cannot fight off Hodgson for very much longer. Oh, yeah, up the inside of Redgate. Nicely done.
Yeah, we saw him have a look there the lap before. He's been taking slightly different lines to get the drive onto the straights, just to try and sneak past Walker, and he's finally managed it.
Right, that's what he needs. He's got a bit of fresh air between him and Reynolds, the race leader. So Neil Hodgson, if he can just put a couple of decent laps together here, surely the National Tyres Suzuki tyres on Chris Walker's bike are shot. They must be.
Well, he doesn't look any more out of control now than he did at the beginning of the race. So
Good
maybe
point.
He's chosen tyres that suit his style of riding anyway.
Over the ripples of McLean. Steve Plater being chased by Neil Mackenzie. So Plater and Mackenzie are having a right old session here at the moment. Kawasaki rider Steve Plater.
Yeah, Mackenzie's had to work his way through the field after another one of his typically not that great starts.
Yeah. Now Steve Plater is a very likeable young man indeed, and a man I would like to see do very well in Superbikes. Kawasaki, very much the underdogs I feel this year at the moment, despite the fact they got World Championship running man Peter Goddard in the team. There he is, 24 Goddard, he's behind Mackenzie. Mackenzie looks at the inside line on Steve Plater, but Plater very, very good on the brakes. And of course Mackenzie is getting used to this V-twin.
Yeah, both of them are getting used to new bikes, but I think Plater's got the bigger thing to get used to. He's got to get used to more horsepower, slicker tyres, and the Superbike class. But he was incredibly impressive on a Superbike, and I think aggression is certainly not going to be one of the problems.
I don't know where he was off on there, but that was a different kind of line altogether into Melbourne.
I don't think it was leaving any room at all for Neil Mackenzie to sneak through, but it probably didn't help his lap time much.
Good point. We're at Goddard's. It is Steve Plater from Neil Mackenzie. Behind them, number 24, Peter Goddard. There is Colin Hipwell coming back into shape. Oh, and Sean Emmett is right all over Peter Goddard. So the new SP1 Honda has up the inside of Redgate, a classic Redgate manoeuvre.
Will he make it past? No, nose cut straight off.
Oh, white by nose. So through couples, Plater again, right over the nose of Mackenzie. That looked to me like Neil just a little bit less than confident with the front of that Ducati at the moment.
Neil doesn't look committed. He's not. Look at his body language. He doesn't show the aggression that he used to show.
38 years old. This man can ride a motorcycle fast for the rest of his life. He's been there and done that. Grand Prix.
Oh, Steve Plater out the seat there.
He got that fairly well spinning at the rear end there, didn't he?
That was 5th or 6th gear flat out against a stop on his way up into Schwartz curve. So pretty hair-raising moment.
Plater not worried at all though. Back at the front, Hodgson chasing number 3, John Reynolds. Number 4 is Neil Hodgson. Hodgson now, he's a believer, isn't he? He's actually made the best of this race so far as Neil Hodgson. Slipped back a little bit in the early stages, but slowly but surely he's now sliding into view of John Reynolds. Reynolds just looks a little bit more out of order there than I've got to say Hodgson looks, I was going to say the smoothest. I take that back immediately.
Yeah, off the slow corner there, the rear tyres were certainly protesting, but he hasn't managed to lose Stalky yet, so I think it's going to do good to because it might drag Walker to the lead with up to Reynolds. And
we've still got Hayden, of course, and Hayden did this in race 1 at Brands Hatch. He didn't get a particularly good start, but he was right there. Oh, Chris Walker.
Did you see he was on the rumble strips there?
Unbelievable. He has got a completely different way of riding a motorcycle to everyone else in this race. Certainly one of the most exciting ways. Right, 7 laps to go of the 19 that we started with. I can't believe it's less than 50 miles this race, and I feel like I've done 150 already.
Yeah, Reynolds must be quicker through that final section at the Melbourne Loop because he's pulled out the gap a bit again from Hodgson. And Hodgson certainly seems a little bit closer here during the last lap.
Oh, back marker time there, and Reynolds, I think, has just about dispensed with it. I'll see if I can pick up who it is. Well, it was 55. That was Francis Williamson again, I think, wasn't it? That was the man that we saw stop by the side of the road on the T3 Tech 3 Racing Yamaha.
I guess that maybe he must have run on at the S's and was just rejoining the race.
So, still it is. Reynolds from Hodgson from Walker. That's the top 3. Hayden, though, is nowhere near finished with this yet. Past Francis Williamson comes number 5, James Hayden, into 4th place. They are closing up, Scott.
Yeah, it looks like it could get a damn sight more exciting for the front.
Up towards the Melbourne Loop, the Mickey Mouse part of the track as far as I'm concerned. I hate this part of this track at Donington Park. Everywhere else is such... Oh, Chris, he's got to fall down. He cannot do that. That was... I think he went speedway riding. Oh, and on the way out as well, he is a speedway rider. He's not a road racer. He should have... That was incredible.
Yeah, he's a very accomplished motocross rider as well, isn't he? So I think when the bike's doing that, it's quite normal for him. And you see, in contrast to Neil Hodgson, who doesn't like sliding around.
And again, number 2, Chris Walker. Well, I'll tell you what, when his team get a lot eyeball of this lot going on, Paul Denning, he was on the rumble strip again there, wasn't he? Sideways on big black line.
Yeah, the Suzuki seems to be pretty strong because he's absolutely abusing it.
Well, James Hayden has snuck another fastest lap in. It's still a second outside the lap record, though, so no lap records are going to go today. It's from 96 when Troy Causer said it. It looks like it's going to stay that way. Still, we look at Hodgson, who seems to have dropped off the pace of John Reynolds, or has John Reynolds upped the pace? We'll have to take a look at our screens and just see. Oh, listen to that. Ducati screaming along there.
Well, as we said, Hayden's the quickest guy on the track at the moment. Although it's amazing he can keep his concentration looking at what Walker's doing in front of him.
Indeed. The amount of junk that Walker must be kicking up from the side of the track as well, because he's not on the line that anyone else would be on. Still it is. John Reynolds from Nottingham that leads this race at the moment. Now, John Reynolds, of course, is a bit of a veteran as well.
Yeah, they're closing up on another few back markers, so this could make or break the race at this point.
34, that's Chris Wilson from Aberdeen. From the Aberdeen Drilling Schools Limited Honda team.
Yeah, Reynolds has caught him at the S's, but I don't think it's going to hold him up too much.
No, not at all. He just kicks it in another gear, goes straight underneath him. 23 coming into view now is Carl Rennie.
So Hodgson's...
Oh, stay with it, John.
Hodgson's real forceful there to try and make sure he makes the pass as soon as possible. He does sneak past, but I don't think it would have done him any favours.
I'll tell you what, though, Reynolds will be by right where he wants to be at Goddard's, and I think Hodgson is going to end up with Rennie right in his way. Well, Ben Atkins, the team owner of the Reve Red Bull team, is going to be more than happy with this. They won both races at Brands Hatch. John won race 1 and Hayden won race 2 at Brands Hatch. Now we look like we're going to have a third Reve Red Bull win out of the 3 races of this year so far. Oh, unless he does something dumb.
Yeah, he must be very confident at the moment. I mean, he's not putting a foot wrong, but Steve Plater's still ahead of Neil Mackenzie,
which is 2 new boys on new bikes. 22 Plater from the Supersport class, moved up to Superbike as Mackenzie, 3 times British Superbike champion. This time gets it right at Redgate. Does he leave a gap though for Plater to get under him?
Finally had the commitment. Now this is where we'll see how quick Plater's pace is, if he can manage to force his way back past Mackenzie as soon as possible.
I think Plater looks very comfortable on that Kawasaki to me, whereas I would say the opposite of Neil Mackenzie at the moment. He just doesn't look to be quite the same stylish man he was on the 4-cylinder Yamaha before.
Plater's hanging off the Kawasaki quite a lot. It doesn't look like it turns as easy as he would like.